on fire to the studio mics. Tune in weekly, we're dropping the spikes. Analyzing every punch, every kick that lands. Maniacs in the game, playing with fans' demands. Ken's got the insight, Joe's got the flair. Mapping out the fights will take you anywhere. So grab your popcorn, buckle up tight.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
What's up? What's up? Back again, MMAniacs podcast. Joined as always by my buddy Bare Knuckle Ken. What's up, bud?
Oh, not too much.
Man, I'm freaking whooped.
Did you get your ass kicked today?
Oh man, I got my ass handed to me by this dude who's probably like 180 pounds. Bro, he's just so fucking fast. Like, to be fair, like, we didn't start from like stand up or from an equal position. I was like, hey, I want to start from my guard. I've been doing that for the last like month, every time I roll, starting from my guard, because I really want to improve my guard. So, but, no excuses. Like, I'm just saying, I purposely put myself in a less than advantageous position, and he fully took advantage of it. Dude's so fast, man. Like, I was trying to put my feet on his hips to try to get some control, and he just, before I knew it, he's like already around my legs to my head, and I'm just like, oh shit, and then, he took my back. He didn't choke me though. Like, I did a good job defending the neck. That's one lesson that I have learned in the last, how to protect my neck and somebody has my back. And so he tried to choke me for a while, and then he was like, you protecting that neck, man. I was like, well, yeah, that's kind of the name of the game, bud. Like, if you're going to choke me, it's like, you're going to have to work for it, dude. So, and then I managed to that, and then I managed to get into his guard, and right as I was like going to go to pass his guard, he snatched up a triangle that was super tight, and I tried to get out, but I couldn't. So he tapped me there, and then we were in a scramble, and he managed to slap another triangle on me, and that one was super tight. And I was like, fuck. And then at the end of it, like the last minute or so, we started again, and this time I was like, forget, putting my feet on his hips. I'm going full, like, closed guard, dude. And when I went full closed guard, I managed to keep him at bay last whole minute, but yeah, dude. So it's lesson learned, man. With this dude, I'm not putting feet on the hips. Like, I'm going full closed guard from now on, and we'll see how that goes, but yeah, I got whooped in front of my professor too. I'm sure he was watching us, and I'm just like, I ain't never gonna get my second strike, man. Fuck, it's hard, man. Being a fat guy, in jiu-jitsu is tough, man, because you don't have the athleticism to do like some of the things, like get your hips hella far down and stuff. I'm kind of limited, so I have to play top game, but I'm like bucking the tiger. I'm like, no, fuck that. I want to build a guard, it's not easy. And I'm getting punished for it. Speaking of getting punished, man, we got a lot to talk about this last card, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So I could come out and say, like, I was wrong about Juliana, but I don't actually feel that bad about it, because I thought it was what we expected to happen in the first two rounds, and it looked to me like Kayla was starting to get tired, but she just managed to snatch that Kimura up at the end of the round, and I mean, it would have been interesting to see if it had gone a little later, But props to Kayla, man. That was a nice Kimura she put on her. Especially eye control.
Absolutely it was. And I think it kind of goes to show how strongly that Kimura was locked in. That even with 10 seconds left of the round, Juliana Pena there said, I ain't waiting that 10 seconds. I'm tapping right now.
It was 5. she tapped at 5 seconds, like, and rightfully so, dude. Like, hey, thanks for the support. She tapped with 5 seconds left, and that's, I mean, even more proves your point, dude. Like, you're not gonna stay in a fully locked aura for 5 seconds, dude. Like, if you even try, your arm's gonna be broken in about 9 places, dude.
Rogan after that had went in and talked about it, about how quickly she had tapped once it got locked in, because of it being locked in so well, that if that would have broke, it would have done a spiral fracture up her arm with the way that it was fucking locked in. And that's something that takes an insane amount of time to heal from. And even though she tapped as quickly as she did, she's still from I think it's the New Jersey Athletic Board there, have indefinitely suspended her till she clears the medical prognosis for it, to make sure that shoulder and elbow is all right.
The match, you could see her holding her shoulder. Like, let me tell you firsthand, Kimura's hurt, dude. They're very painful. They're, and not just painful, but I mean, you're completely helpless. Like, if that person wants to, they could just jerk your arm real quick and they could snap. It's not arm, it's a shoulder lock. It'll break your arm, but it'll also just like all the way up your shoulder, dude. Like, you're talking, that arm is going to be useless for the rest of your life.
Oh yeah, dislocation at the shoulder, possible dislocation at the elbow, mixed with the fucking spiral fracture in the upper part of the arm. That ain't a good way for anybody to.
Yeah, not to mention any ligament damage or tendons.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get a hell of a lot of ligament damage, because you know something's gonna tear if you're causing all that kind of opposite damage.
Yeah, dude. It's literally, it's just the arm destroyer, dude. Like, Kimura is nasty as fuck. And you know, the thing is with Kimuras is you can try to roll, but in a street fight situation, they're just gonna jerk the arm and snap it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're pretty much at their mercy. In jiu-jitsu, you can try to roll into it, and you know, people have done that, but I don't take any chances, man. Like, the one wrong little move and your whole shoulder is completely done for. So I'm like, I'll just tap, you know. It's like Mr. Miyagi said, best defense, no be there. You know, like, best defense, don't get fucking Kimura, dude. Like, if you feel them going for the Kimura, grab your belt. Like, that's the defense, is grab your belt and try to get, because usually they're isolating that arm 2-on-1. So grab your belt, hold onto your belt for dear life, and try to work that arm free of the 2-on-1 so that they can't snatch the Kimura, dude. Like, it's the Kimura is a very good technique. It's hard to hit. It's hard to hit.
Oh, we got a bit of a frozen Joe. But yeah, the Kimura is definitely a devastating one if you can get that locked on like that. Because as you saw from this fight here, it's just a quick stupid old Cali internet.
Yeah, but it's hard to hit in live situations with somebody who knows what you're doing. But in an untrained situation, if you're fighting somebody that's untrained and they don't know what they're what to look for and how to fight it, dude, it's very effective. I mean, it's very effective either way. If you can land the Kimura, they're gonna tap, dude. Like, but it's just much more difficult if they know what they're doing, like, because they're gonna grab the belt, they're gonna, you know. But again, it comes down to pressure. And my professor, you know. Like, if my professor was to try to put a Kimura on me, like, I don't care how hard I grab my belt. Like, he's an expert at putting so much pressure, like getting that arm isolated, that you're gonna let go. You know what I mean? And so eventually, he's gonna get the Kimura. So it just comes with experience, man. Like, it's not even just my professor. Like, if like the one of the purple belts I train with. You know, he's got that same kind of pressure. You know, like he's strong as hell, but it's like I don't want to attribute it to strength. It's technique as well. You know, like if he wants to put you in the Kimura, he's gonna put you in the Kimura, dude. Like, you know what I mean? He's gonna eventually get you to let go, and it, you know, no, it's the same with arm bars. No matter how hard I try to keep my arm in, dude, eventually he's gonna isolate it, and he's gonna, you know, you're gonna give up. But Juliana, you know, I thought it would have been interesting to see the fight go a little bit longer because I thought Kayla was starting to get tired. But props to her, you know. Sets up the Amanda Nunes fight, which nobody's surprised about.
Yeah. And I couldn't believe just how big Amanda Nunes is because, you know, when she's fighting against some of the other opponents, yeah, she's big and all. Or if you see her by herself again, yeah, she's big. But you know Kayla Harrison's a freaking monster, and she's bigger than Kayla Harrison.
She definitely matches up size-wise with Kayla, and that'll be an interesting match because evolvement from what I was taught at Fort Jackson. Yeah, Brent, jiu-jitsu, that's the wonderful thing about jiu-jitsu is it's not a pond, it's a flowing stream, man. Like it's constantly evolving. You know, there's guys that have changed the game like De La Riva. You know, De La Riva was one of my master. Well, our master now is Carlson Jr., but Carlson Sr., when he was alive, he trained De La Riva. And so De La Riva, there's a whole guard now it's called the De La Riva guard. But it existed obviously before De La Riva figured it out. Like there's nothing, that's the interesting paradox of jiu-jitsu is that there's nothing new under the sun, right? The Japanese figured this out hundreds of years ago, but sometimes techniques and guards and things like that, they end up getting sort of buried for a while, and then somebody dusts it off, and you know, like just out of experience or out of, you know, hey, let me try something, and they dust it off, and then they call it the De La Riva guard, or they call it, you know, whatever, and it's like, well, like my professor says, you know, De La Riva didn't invent it, he just made it popular. It's just like the Kimura. The Kimura is actually named after the Japanese dude who broke, I think it was Helio. He broke Helio Gracie's, either Helio or Carlos. He broke Helio's arm with it, and then so they called it the Kimura because the Japanese dude's name was Kimura. Keep in mind the Japanese dude outweighed Helio by like 100, probably 80 to 100 pounds.
What's up?
What's up there? So, but still, like the Kimura is a very effective technique, and the De La Riva guard, like I said. So it's the paradox of jiu-jitsu is that it's constantly evolving, but there's nothing new under the sun. You know, it's like you'll take an old technique and you'll put a new twist on it, or you'll, you know, find a new setup for it, but the technique is still the technique, you know? So what's going on, Nick?
What up, guys? How y'all doing?
Good, man.
Bad. At the moment,
we're talking about jiu-jitsu and the evolution of jiu-jitsu in the last 40 years, especially now with like no-gi is becoming extremely popular. So it's, you know, my professor is a purist, so he says like, you know, that's not jiu-jitsu, that's grappling. Like jiu-jitsu is in a gi, you know. So it's, but you know, no-gi is starting to become very popular, especially with guys like Craig Jones and stuff like that. So you're seeing a lot of new tweaks on old techniques because, you know, it's when you don't have the
beauty of
gi.
it.
Yeah, I agree. You don't have when you don't have the gi, there's different grips. How has jiu-jitsu helped Tua? I don't know, but I'm sure it's helped him to be in better shape, and I'm sure it's given him some self-confidence and the ability to, you know, defend himself in a non-football situation.
I feel like Tua taking up judo would help his falling more than jiu-jitsu, would it not?
Well, not necessarily, because jiu-jitsu has we have break falls as well. They teach you how to fall correctly and to disperse your impact so that you don't land on one specific part and damage that. Jiu-jitsu has, because we have takedowns and we have throws and things like that too. That's maybe something that is misunderstood about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is people think that it's strictly a ground art, but there's throws, there's takedowns, there's pins, there's submissions, there's break falls, all kinds of stuff. There's even strikes.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
that's the one I didn't know about.
It's the most complex. It's the most complex fighting form, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, I love BJJ. I think Japanese jiu-jitsu might be more complex. Well, put it this way: Japanese jiu-jitsu is more involved, like because jiu-jitsu is the wrestling form, but like all of like Aikido, all these Japanese martial arts, they all came from the original jutsu, which was the samurai art, right? Like the of hand to hand and sword fighting and everything like that. There was all these different arts, and then they specifically adapted the grappling techniques and made jujitsu and judo. And then the Brazilians took the judo and the grappling from jujitsu, and they formed Brazilian jiu-jitsu from it. So real like authentic Japanese jiu-jitsu is more involved. There's more to it, but I think Brazilian jiu-jitsu is more specialized because it's more meant for grappling. Like there's so yeah, like there's more to Japanese jiu-jitsu, but Brazilian jiu-jitsu is more in depth and more focused. And so Sarah says, "Don't
How
let your
about
wife train
O'Malley's
with
takedown
Brazilian jiu-jitsu."
defense? That was pretty impressive the first 2 rounds, man. I thought his
Yeah,
takedown defense was pretty good. Marab is just an animal, and I think his corner just kept telling him if you keep pressing him, he's gonna fold. And once Marab got him down, it was over. But I thought O'Malley, his takedown defense was. I think that was something. Marab messed up his whole camp. I feel like O'Malley's whole camp was just, in a sense, jujitsu and takedown defense and things of that nature. But I thought O'Malley didn't fight a bad fight. Marab is just an animal, man.
And that's exactly why in the interview with Rogan after he just said Marab's a motherfucker. That
Yeah,
that that perfectly encapsulates it. Marab's a special fucking guy.
yeah,
yeah, I totally agree. I think I agree with you, Nick. Sean's takedown defense looked much improved. It's just you can't stop Marab, man. Like he just spams and spams takedowns, and
yeah,
I felt like another thing was I felt like Marab had to he had to sort of change it up and work takedowns from different angles, work his level changes. Everything looked a little bit different. Like I think and Marab even said it in his post fight. He's like the takedowns that worked last time are not going to work this time because he's going to watch the tape. He's going to train those things. So you have to go and approach it from different setups, different things like that. And I mean, we talked about the fight in depth. We said, Sean, his only chance was a puncher's chance. He had to land that shot. We expect
yeah,
both
absolutely.
Ken and I expected that Sean would show improved takedown defense, but the question was, is it going to improve enough to be able to hold off Marab? And the answer was no. Um, I'm going to have to eat a little bit of crow here because I said that at 34, Marab, I don't see him having 3 more years as champion. Like because at 35, guys at his weight class tend to fall off. But the way he looked against O'Malley, dude, he might be champion until he's 40, dude. Fuck,
Yeah, yeah, dude. O'Malley needs
I
to
mean,
utilize more uppercuts. I feel like that could have been a counter because of Marab's huge take. He wants to, like you said, he wants to spam takedowns. If you could just count, and we all know Sean's quick enough. If you could time that uppercut, there's your one punch KO.
There you go. That right there is the whole crux of it, is getting the timing of it perfect. Because
Yep.
you're gonna go for that, And if you miss, you just pretty much just gave him a free takedown.
And the thing is,
Yeah.
I had talked about it before the fight. I said I would like to see Sean utilize leg kicks and front push kicks, and he did use the front push kick once or twice in the fight. Sean did, and when he did it, I was like, "There you go! Like, just keep doing it!" Like, and he didn't. Like, he, for
It's
whatever
gonna keep
reason,
him
he stopped
away.
doing it.
Yeah, it's gonna keep him away.
But yeah, and it's like he did it, but he refused to make it a regular part of his strategy, and like he threw a couple of leg kicks, and I was like, dude, like he should be spamming those leg kicks, like because Marab has to come to you.
Yeah.
Marab has to, in order to take you down, he has to close the distance. So if you can kick that leg and just beat that leg up, it's going to slow him down, and now your footwork, you're going to be able to get in and out. Like Sean didn't do what was necessary, in my opinion, to give himself a real chance. But again, taking nothing from Marab, like Marab's gas tank is freaking ridiculous, dude.
Insane.
Yeah,
Insane.
and
And
then
And
his,
if
and his
you
takedown,
call him the machine, he really is a machine.
and he gets the finish. Like so, not only does he beat Sean, but he puts the cherry on top. Like that to me was like, dude, that's Marab is
oh yeah, if he can start finishing fighters like that, he's gonna have himself one hell of a career, and that's gonna go a lot towards his legacy.
dude. I mean, there's already talk that if he gets like one or two more title defenses, he might surpass Khabib on the all-time list. There's people talking about it already.
Yeah,
And
I've actually
I
seen some
can't say
articles on that.
I can't say that I necessarily disagree. I mean, man, especially because he's already beat Umar. Like if he beats Umar again, like because that was his toughest test in my opinion. The Nurmagomedov fight was his toughest test. That was a great fight, and he won by decision 48-47. But that fight really, I mean, it was close to. It was one of those where like if it would have went to Umar, I wouldn't have called it a robbery. I would have said I felt like Merab deserved to win, but I wouldn't have called it a robbery. It was that close. And Umar is probably going to be so. Sandhagen is looking like he's going to get the next title shot, and then after that, if Umar gets one more win, Umar should be able to get the title shot after that. So, what are your thoughts on that? Merab versus Sandhagen.
I love Corey. I think he's a great fighter, but he ain't no match for Marab.
Yeah, I mean,
To be honest, though, right? This is my honest opinion now. Now, Corey is better suited for a Marab fight than Sean, in my opinion. But
I
I
agree.
think we're just gonna see. I think we're just gonna see. I mean, Marab is like he really is he's a fucking gremlin, man. He's a little fucking goblin. You know, he's just like Sean said. He's a motherfucker. He really
He's an
is.
Italian
I
tank.
just remember Saturday watching that fight, being like, Marab is like he's like a rabid Wolverine, bro. Like he's like white on rice. He's all over him, bro. And he's just gonna be like that until he hits that proverbial wall.
Mm-hmm. I think Merab actually. Now, maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe you guys will disagree, but I actually think Merab reminds me more of Khabib than Islam does
Yes, you're right.
because
You're
he
absolutely
just
right.
he just doesn't let you breathe. Like he's just every time you get that little bit of space where you can try to take a breath, boom, he's back on your leg. He's back on your back. He's closing the
Hey,
distance. He just doesn't let you breathe, dude.
I'm gonna have to jump off in a couple minutes, but I actually want to ask your perspective on this, Joe. Being a fighter, you think maybe, just maybe, because it's little instances in MMA where, like, for
I'm
example,
I'm not a
and I'm
fighter
saying
though.
this, I hear you, but you have more insight than
Okay.
I feel like me. You know what I mean? Like you've been around it more. Now, Marab was trying those takedowns, and then he was starting to spam them. There might have been in an instance where Sean was taking few deep breaths, You know what I mean? Where Marab knew. He's like, if I just keep this pressing him, he's going to end up folding. He's going to end up making that mistake, and I'm going to get him. And that's what happened.
Absolutely. Like that's Marab's whole game is just like you can stand up to the pressure in round 1. You can stand up to the pressure maybe in round 2. But by round 3, when you just I mean anybody who's ever grappled, not even fought, but just grappled. If you've grappled in jiu-jitsu or even wrestling, when you have a guy who's constantly just on you and you're every little thing you do, you're having to resist him, whether it's he's got you against the cage and you're pummeling for position, or he's trying to take you down and you're having to sprawl him, and everything that you do is sapping energy, and this guy isn't stopping. He keeps coming, it's not just the physical exhaustion. There's a mental exhaustion, and there's a mental part of it where it's just like the perfect example is Khabib and Dustin Poirier, right? In the third round, on the stool between the second and third round, Dustin Poirier his corner was talking to him, and he says one thing to them. He says, "I can't get him the fuck off me." He tells his corner that I can't get him the fuck off me. Like he says, I can't get him off me. Like that right there perfectly encapsulates what you're talking about, man. The constant pressure, this guy is always on me. He's always in my bubble. Like he's breathing my air. It's just, I can't get this dude off me. I'm feeling smothered, and it just breaks you down psychologically. And that's Marab's game, dude. And he plays it better than almost anybody else. So, yeah, I do agree with you. I think Sandhagen is better suited for a Marab fight. I think Sandhagen's striking makes it interesting. And he's a much better grappler than Sean. But Sandhagen, if I'm being honest, and this is no knock on Sandhagen, like, there's just levels to this, dude. And Sandhagen, every time he's gotten to that big fight, he's lost. You know, like, every time he gets to this level where he's one fight away from a title shot, he loses. And so I just wonder, it's like, is he always meant to be the bridesmaid and not the bride? You know, like Dustin Poirier, for example, he can beat everybody else, but when it gets to that title fight, for whatever reason, he just can't get over the hump. I wonder if Sandhagen is kind of the same way.
Do y'all think, and I got to be out after this question, do y'all think Peter Yan is more fitted for a Marab fight than a Sandhagen?
I mean, he hits harder. He's got great wrestling. Piotr is a very well-rounded fighter, but I think the same thing happens. Honestly, I think Marab outgasses him, and you know, he just wrestle fucks him, and I don't think anybody in that division other than Umar has a real shot at beating Marab. And the only reason Umar has a real shot is because his grappling is as high level as Marab. But even Umar's gas tank, that's why he lost the first time, is because Marab was able to gas him out by the fourth and early fifth round, you know, and he was able to take over the fight. I think Umar even falls short because Marab just has ridiculous gas tank, dude. He has the Diaz brothers gas tank, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
hey, fellas, appreciate y'all having me on. Good talking to y'all. Y'all have a good day.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, thanks for coming on, buddy.
Peace out.
Later on, dude. So, yeah, it's I think Marab's going to be champion for a while, dude. And this opens up, you know, a nice segue. Where does O'Malley go from here? Because we talked about this last week. Like, is this a make or break for O'Malley? I said, I don't think it's a make or break. Like, it's not a must win because I think there's still options for him. Although I think his options at bantamweight are pretty limited. I think he should move up to featherweight myself. What do you think, Kim?
Yeah. Oh, I'm trying to remember who the hell was the fighter right after this fight happened. And when I say right after, I mean minutes after, came out and tweeted that that's what happens when you're getting the Dana White privilege and you're getting everything handed to you, and you find out that you got to step back in line now with the rest of us. That I think what this does is it does derail the O'Malley hype train to where he's going to have to fight back and re-earn everything now.
Yeah, I agree. He's going to have to go on a little bit of a winning streak.
Up would be good.
I think he's going to have to go on a bit of a winning streak in the top 5. He's going to have to win 2 or 3 fights in a row before, and even then, I don't think the UFC is in a hurry to give him a third shot with Merab, or to give him a third fight with Merab. The first one was pretty convincing. The second one was even more convincing. I think we got the question answered. Does Merab have O'Malley's number? I think the answer is yes.
Mm-hmm. And another thing that I have with O'Malley that I hope he improves on is, I know he's known as a sniper and all that, but I want to see him utilizing combinations a hell of a lot more than he does. He's more of a 1-2 fighter than punching in volume. He's got a good amount of fucking punching power. So you'd think punching in volume is only going to help increase his chance of success at landing that one knockout than just sitting there, okay, is it perfect? Now.
See, I totally agree with you. The thing is it's happened to a lot of great fighters. You get a few one-punch knockouts and you fall in love with your power. And so you start doing you fall in love with your power, and so you start cherry picking and only looking for that one perfect shot. The problem is that one perfect shot doesn't really line itself up all that often. You can spend a whole 5-round fight and not find that shot. You have to set that shot up, and the way you set that shot up is with other shots.
And shit, I think the perfect example of that was the fight that happened earlier on the card, just before the co-main event. There was that Kevin, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name, versus that Joe Pilfer there.
Mm-hmm.
He rocked the shit out of him a couple of times, but then he was just looking for that one big hit. And it allowed Kevin to work himself back into that fight, and he at least wow, I can't freaking talk today. Holy shit! I said at least he admitted that that was a problem and that he got caught looking for that big shot. So hopefully that means he's going to go out this time and he's going to train more on the combinations and all of that. But he did also have a year off because of that back surgery, so that might be a little bit of a part of it too.
Yeah, it could be partially a gas tank issue. You don't know what your gas tank is going to be like going into your first fight, coming back from an injury. But I think Sean is at that point where he's fallen in love with his one-punch knockout power, and I totally agree with you. I think he should diversify his striking and throw more punches from different angles, throw different types of punches, not just the 1-2, but mix in uppercuts, work in some body shots. If the body falls, the head falls, man. One of the best body punchers in the history of MMA was Nick Diaz. And Nick Diaz didn't have tremendous punching power. He didn't knock guys out because he hit so fucking hard. He knocked guys out because he beat the body up, and he was just constantly tap, 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 50% power, tap, tap, tap. And you just get so tired of his hand in your face, hitting you, even though it's not really rocking you. But then all of a sudden he mixes in those 100% shots. Bang, all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, and then back to 50%, then bang, another 100% shot. Mm-hmm. And when he dug to the body, man, Nick was a master at digging to the body. I think that it's a similar thing happened to Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor fell in love with his left hand. That straight left, that he hit Aldo with.
Mm-hmm.
He knocked so many people out with it that he's like, he started to just keep that left hand, just he doesn't throw as many combinations as he used to. And like when he fought Nate Diaz the second time, they were boxing, dude. Like they were throwing dogs. It wasn't just Connor waiting for the left hand. Like he needs to go to. I think Connor, if he went back to that, he could have more success. Set up the shot, like pepper him. And so Sean, I think needs to do that. But I do think that Sean should consider going up to featherweight because he's really tall for bantamweight. The cut is probably hard on him, and it's only going to get harder as he ages. He's 30 years old right now. I would go ahead and try to fill into my body, fight at 45, and then eventually finish out my career at 55. And there's a shitload of good fights to be had. Can you pull up the top 10 for featherweight right now?
Yeah, hold on.
Because let's say coming off the decisive loss to Merab, they're not going to probably give him a top 5 guy at featherweight. But a top 10 guy like number 10 or number 9.
You would have Josh Emmett at number 10. Sterling at 9. Murphy at 8. Ortega at 7.
Hold on. So let's just stop right there.
Yep.
So you have Josh Emmett at 10. That fight, oh man, like that's a dangerous fight for O'Malley because Emmett. Have you seen Josh Emmett?
No, I have not.
Okay, go before next week's show. Go watch some Josh Emmett fights. That dude, you want to talk about hammers? He hits as hard as Topuria, if not harder, dude.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, dude. One punch knockout power. Hammers, bro. Absolute hammers. He damn killed Bryce, dude. Like, damn near killed him. Like, he had him doing the tuna, bro. Like, yeah, it's Josh Emmett. If the UFC is trying to build O'Malley up at featherweight, I don't think they give him Josh Emmett because of the danger, because that's going to be a stand-up fight, and all it takes is for Emmett to land one really good shot. It's kind of tailor-made for. It's exactly. I don't know. Maybe they do give him Emmett because it's the perfect matchup for O'Malley because Emmett is going to strike with him, and O'Malley can use his speed and his length, but that's a dangerous fight, dude. Because if Emmett connects, like O'Malley's going to sleep. So usually the MMA fights are scheduled out a few months in advance. The UFC cards, you'll get like up to 3 cards. I know that International Fight Week is on June 28th, and that's in Vegas. That's coming up in a couple weeks. And that would be a good one to go to if you're looking to go to a live card, because it's not just the card. They have International Fight Week. So there was a list today of all the fighters that are going to be there. People like Zhang Weili, Chuck Liddell, Diego Lopez, Dominic Reyes. Man, I don't know though. I don't remember the whole list, but there's a lot of people, a lot of fighters that are going to be there, and you have the chance to meet those guys, take pictures with them, whatever. Like, it's a really good fan experience.
And I want to just take this moment to kind of slightly pivot away from MMA and mention boxing. That Manny Pacquiao just got inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame this past weekend.
Congratulations, Manny.
Mm-hmm. He was a hell of a fighter. Now, granted, he's actually about making a comeback, but
he is. He's actually. They're looking at him fighting Rolly. Rolly is coming off the win against Ryan Garcia, and he has a belt. And they're talking about Manny Pacquiao fighting Rolly.
Oh no shit!
At 46 years old, like I think the fight, either the fight's already signed or it's close to being signed. Interesting, because Pacquiao's a live dog. Even at 46, I think he's a live dog. I would lean towards Rolly just because Pacquiao didn't look so great against Yordenis Ugas, but who knows, man. I'm never going to count out Pacquiao. His speed, his combination punching, and the power is the last to go. He beat Keith Thurman at 41 years old. So I'm not going to count him out. But what did that say?
Just celebrating Manny.
Oh, Manny. Yeah. So, anyways, back to Josh Emmett. It's a tailor-made matchup for Sean, but I think it's dangerous. And then who was number 9? It's Aljo, right? Aljamain Sterling.
Yep.
So he's already beat Aljamain at bantamweight. I could see them selling that fight at featherweight. Like that could be his featherweight debut. It's another fight where it's like it's perfectly tailored. It's the striker versus grappler. Sean has already beat him, so the UFC might feel comfortable. Like, hey, this is we're trying to build Sean up at featherweight. This would be a good match for him. I don't know because Aljo was the weight cut for Aljo down to bantamweight was tough. So he's much more. It's much easier for him to make featherweight, but he's ranked number 9. Like he hasn't been a serious threat to the title. So I don't know. It's interesting. Interesting. Number 8 is who?
Number 8 is Lerone Murphy. Lerone Murphy. Holy fuck! I don't know what's up with my talking today.
Lerone Murphy. Yeah, Murphy's good. Murphy's a good fighter. Number 7 is Ortega. You said right?
Yep.
So go. Give me number 6.
Number 6 is Arnold Allen.
Okay, Arnold Allen is.
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea who he is.
Arnold Allen, he's a pretty good fighter. He's not afraid to stand up. I don't know if they're going to give him number 6 right off the bat, coming off a tap. But it's O'Malley, and it's you have the Dana White privilege. I don't know. Maybe they give him a top 5 opponent. I mean, there's some. I would want to test him first, though. Like I would give him a fight in the top 10. I think Ortega is an interesting fight because Ortega's his jiu-jitsu game is really good. He can box, but he's not a tremendous boxer. I mean, he got the absolute shit beat out of him by Volkanovski. I don't know. That would be interesting. Josh Emmett would be an interesting fight. Aljo, the rematch. I'm not terribly interested in it, but I could see the UFC being interested in it as sort of looking at it as we can get him a win inside the top 10, and then he can start to fight some of the other contenders. But the real fights that I would be curious to see is like Diego Lopez versus Sean O'Malley. Yair Rodriguez versus Sean O'Malley. Let's look at that top 5, dude.
That top 5's a murderer's row. You got Mausvar, Elov, Yair, Ilya, Diego.
No, Movsar. Say it again, Movsar.
Oh yeah, Mosar, Elov, or however the hell you pronounce his last name.
Yeah, they just call him Movsar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Movsar, he's good, dude. That's not a good matchup for Sean, though. It's not. I wouldn't match it if I was his, manager. I would not match him up with Movsar. I would try to avoid him in the rankings. And then number 4.
Well, Mosvar and Yair Rodriguez are both tied at 4.
They're both at 4, so there's no 5.
Yep.
Interesting. So Yair that would be a great fight. That's going to be a stand-up fight. Yeah, I like Brian Ortega too, but he is what he is. He's limited, man. He doesn't have the skill set to be a champion, unfortunately. And that's when he was in his prime. Oh, we're going all the way back to Jeff Horn, huh? I had Manny winning the fight. I thought that the ref let Jeff Horn get away with an insane amount of dirty boxing, like elbows and clinch and headbutts and stuff like that. He should have taken points away. I thought the ref could have stopped it in round 9. I wouldn't have objected to a stoppage, but he let him continue. And then the hometown judging was just ridiculous. Like, yeah, Manny got robbed a couple of times in his career. The first time he fought Bradley, and then that Jeff Horn fight was just completely preposterous. But Jeff Horn did do a good job of roughing up Pacquiao, making it a very dirty boxing kind of fight. So I could see where like people could have it closer than a landslide, but there's just not a universe where I see Jeff Horn winning that fight. That's all. But it's in Australia, man, with Australian judges. Like, come on, dude. Like, the hometown guy. Like, yeah. Anyway, so Yair is an interesting fight at number 4. And then Movsar is also ranked number 4. Who's number 3?
Ilya.
That has to be old because he's not in featherweight anymore.
Yeah, they haven't updated it yet on UFC's site.
Okay, well, I think they're probably keeping him there in case he loses at 55. If he loses against Charles, then he might, go back down to 45. I don't know, or they're leaving it open for him to go down to 45. So at 3 is Ilya. Ilya versus Sean. Come on, you're telling me you wouldn't take my money, dude? Like,
what? We're gonna pay money to watch Ilya make Sean take a nap? Because that's exactly what I think is gonna happen.
Man, you really like Ilya?
Oh yeah.
Man, I think Sean's a live dog in that fight. He's got the reach. He's got pretty similar knockout power. He's got longer legs. Like,
I don't think he's got the knockout power of him. He's got knockout power, but I don't think it's quite at Ilya's level.
Maybe not, but I mean, knockout power. It's one of those things. Like, dude, you don't need Francis Ngannou level of knockout power. You know what I mean? It's like you don't need Mike Tyson level of knockout power. If you can hit hard enough on the chin, it only takes a certain amount of pressure, dude. So if you have the ability to put that amount of pressure on the chin, they'll go to sleep. So at that point, it's like one of those things where it's like, how much power do you actually need?
You got to be a lot more accurate with that. Where if you have that ridiculous knockout power, you don't even have to land clean punches at that point. Even if you just clip the guy, you got enough strength to knock him out.
True, and I don't think Sean has like that kind of power. Ilya does have that kind of power.
That's my point of it.
But he's got a lane. Ilya is much shorter. His arms are much shorter, and I think Sean would have a field day trying to box with him. I don't think Ilya would box with him very long. I think he would eventually try to take him down because he would be getting outstruck on the reach. But who knows? Maybe Ilya has fallen in love with his knockout power, and maybe he decides, I'm just going to stick around and try to land that shot. Who knows? But either way, it's an intriguing fight, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Number 2?
Number 2 is Diego Lopez.
Another. So you have, in the top 5 alone, you have Yair Rodriguez, you have Ilya Topuria, you have Diego Lopez. Those all would make fantastic fights for Sean.
Oh, yeah. Number 1 would be a damn good one, too, with Max Holloway.
Max is still ranked number 1 at featherweight?
Yep. Really?
He's a 55er now. That's very interesting. Yeah, that would be enough. Dude, that would be possibly the most entertaining fight because Max isn't going to try to wrestle.
Mm-hmm. Max is ranked in both weight classes. At featherweight, he's 1, and at lightweight, he's 4.
So, I mean, that would be a fantastic fight. I don't think Max is going back down to featherweight, though. If I'm being honest, I think he's going to finish his career at lightweight. He's ranked number 4. He's got a fight with Poirier coming up. Max hasn't had a title shot at 55. So if he can beat Poirier, he sets himself up nicely. Yeah. You have a Filipino wife too, huh? I do too. Where in the Philippines is your wife from, Brent? Mine is from Batangas on Luzon. Beautiful area. In fact, my wife and I just bought a farm lot there, 15 minutes from La Ia, which is one of the world famous like beach resort towns in the Philippines. It's like beautiful beaches, dude. And our house is on, or our land is on top of the mountain, but it's like 15-20 minutes from the beach. So eventually that's the goal, is build a house on it. It's in an undeveloped area, so we're gonna have to wait for it to get. South Cotabato. Where is that? Is that Mindanao, or is that Cebu? Which island is that? Or is it Luzon? Passport Bros. Telling you, Passport Bros is the way to go, man. Like, I know this isn't a political show or anything like that, but if you're a single dude, get a passport, go to the Philippines. Let me tell you, there is no shortage of beautiful, intelligent women in the Philippines, dude. And they're submissive. They can cook. They can clean. They don't mind doing the things that you kind of hope for as a man in your wife. You know what I mean? They don't mind it. They're fiery and they can get a little bit jealous. Like, let me tell you, you look a little too long at another woman, you might end up with a knife between your ribs. But
Hey, I was gonna say, what's life without a little extra spice?
Yeah, Mindanao. See, Mindanao. Yeah, dude.
Say, shit. My girlfriend's freaking Italian and Sicilian, and let me tell you, she's got about the same outlook.
I mean, there it is. Yeah, Passport Bros, man. Like, if you're a single dude and you're out here in the rat race and you're trying to find yourself a potential partner, good luck in America, bud. Like, it's not that there aren't women here. That's just there's not enough, And here you have to compete for them. In the Philippines, it's not that way. It's I don't know. It's a lot different. The culture is different, and Filipino people, and also just not even just the women, but the people in general in the Philippines are very nice. They're very friendly. They're very hospitable. Like, you won't be able to leave their table without like stuffing yourself, dude. They're just gonna keep putting food in front of you, in front of you, in front of you, and
so it's like having an old Sicilian grandma.
yeah, it's they're very hospitable.
Love me no more.
They're very hospitable people, and the country is beautiful, man. If you like tropical, like coconut trees, banana trees, like if you like nice beaches, and if you like your money to go a long way, because in the Philippines the exchange rate is like 53 pesos to the dollar, so it's your money, your dollar goes a long way there. But yeah, just throwing it out there. Passport Bros. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, I don't know, man. I think Sean should consider a move up to featherweight. His options are pretty limited at bantamweight, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Like, he could try to work his way back up to a title fight, but does anybody really think he's going to beat Merab?
No. And what I was talking about, I refocused all my training. I quit smoking weed for this. Yeah, that didn't help, dude.
It's not the weed, man. It's just he's completely outclassed. Like, Merab is just, and it's not even just Sean. Merab Marab is just that much better than everybody else. Oh man, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been to Cavite. Cavite is right next to Batangas, my wife's province. So I've been to Cavite, Laguna, Batangas, like all those southern, south central Luzon areas, those different provinces. And yeah, they're all beautiful. Um, Especially in Cavite, there's a place, a little town called Nasugbu, and there's a beach there right outside Nasugbu. It's called Munting Buhangin, and it literally means small sand in Tagalog. But that beach is incredible, dude. It's not blue water; it's clear water, but it's such a small beach that you can have like. I've been there before, where it's like you're almost the only people on the beach. You can have it all to yourself, man. It's it's incredible, and the water is like a nice 70 degrees, and there's cool spots that you'll find in there. Like it's warm, and then all of a sudden you'll find like this little cool pocket. You know, there are some jellyfish. I got stung by jellyfish a couple times, um, but not like man of wars or anything that's going to kill you. It just stings a little bit, but you can either pee on it, which I was not going for, or you can use vinegar. Actually, if you pour vinegar on it, and the great thing about being married to a Filipino is like when you bring food to the beach, there's always going to be some vinegar there, dude, because they eat vinegar with almost everything. Like so. Like vinegar and soy sauce, man. There's gonna be some soy sauce. There's gonna be some vinegar. So, like, as soon as I got stung by the jellyfish, she pulls out a gallon of vinegar. She's like, "Here we go. Let's just pour this on." I'm like, "Dude, it's one of the advantages of being married to a Filipino." I'm telling you. But yeah, so we'll see what happens with Sean. Now we got the upcoming card, 317. Is that Hamzat and or no? It's Ilya and Charles, right?
Mm-hmm.
The one in July is Hamzat and Dricus.
Hold on, let me look real quick.
318.
318 is Holloway and Poirier.
Okay, so 319 is Hamzat.
That's what I'm looking at. Yes.
So 319 is Hamzat and Dricus. 318 is Holloway and Poirier. What's the other fight on that Holloway Poirier card? What's the other main card fight or main event?
Yeah, it would be Brendan Allen and Marvin Vittori.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, it's not a terrible fight, but it's not really the caliber of fight I was expecting. So we got Charles and Ilya, and what's the co-main event on that card?
That is Alexandre Pajora.
Oh, it's Pantoja and Kaikara France.
Pantoja. There we go. Yep.
Oh, see, that's going to be a good one, dude. Pantoja and Kaikara France. Leyte. Yeah. Hey, Leyte is beautiful. My brother-in-law is from my wife's sister's husband. He's from Leyte. And so their family, they go up there and visit his family up there once in a while. And I haven't been there yet, but the next time I go to the Philippines, hopefully I can go, because I've heard Leyte is really beautiful. Unfortunately, we're out of time. It always goes so fast. Thank you guys for joining us, though. We hope we'll see you guys again next week. Thanks for the comments. Remember to like it on YouTube. Maybe even share with a friend, man. Let people know we're trying to grow our viewership. Yeah, you got any closing words, Ken?
No, hey, just thanks for joining us, and we will be back next Wednesday. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of your day, and we will see you next week.
Yeah, yo, it's game time, ain't no messing around. Huddle
Huddle Sports Network, the best in town. From NFL rumors to the latest trends, we got all your sports. Just tune in, my friends. Catch us on Roku.